John, I don't know how to pronounce your surname. Gear, I think. Big fan of the show. Big fan of Dutch. I've had the books that he shamelessly shills since they were originally released. Great reads, by the way.
It's now they're writing in and knocking me
No,
to
no,
my
no. He
face
says great
shamelessly.
reads. Great reads, he says.
Oh, it is. They are great reads, but now he said shamelessly hawk like I'm in a carnival. Is that what he's trying to say?
Hey,
What's his name?
John.
All right, John.
You sell a lot of them.
Quite a bit more than I thought I would. Mm-hmm.
So,
once a story is a story, it's a classic, and it's a classic that can be. And you know, I keep talking about story in wrestling. Well, if you write a book, you got to tell a story. So every chapter is a different story, different people, different surroundings, different time. What I like about my book, well, other than I wrote it and I get money from it, is that it doesn't follow a linear, introduction. It doesn't start in 1986 and go 87 and then 88. It doesn't go in a line like that. You may start reading it and it's 1984 and then you pop up and it's 1998. I'm in Puerto Rico or somewhere. So every story stands alone on itself. So, but what is a John question?
Well, if you want those books, you can go to Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2Ls at gmail.com and get them signed.
Hey, that was shameless.
Yes.
John, that's shameless. But I do it a little bit more courteously, I think. So, but that is a shameless plug. So what was his what was his question?
John has a question about the IWA. This is my first time really seeing a lot of it. I followed it in the Observer at the time, but seeing some of the houses they drew was amazing. Packed baseball stadiums, etc. Very impressive to see for a company that isn't talked about much. Based on what I've seen with the houses, was the pay good for the wrestlers, and was there a lot of heat/competition with WWC, which was Carlos Colon's promotion at the time?
Yeah, we had some heat, but it's not they drew. It was I drew. I booked all those cards. We drew all that money and the reason we drew money is because I told them, I said, listen, I'm not going to book it and you guys to come along behind me and change it. I said, so I know exactly what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing. You don't got to worry about it. And he was right. We did have mega houses, mega. We go to the baseball stadium and we had a good, strong TV and everybody was watching it because what was I heavy on, James?
Story, backstage, out of
nobody
the ring stuff.
Nobody said we had a 5-star match, but we did. We turned in some, I think, $200,000 gates. Maybe not that, 150,000. I'll say that. And how was the pay? Pay wasn't that good. It really wasn't. I had a guarantee, so, and I got bonused a couple of times, but the pay wasn't that good. And and we had IWA was the name of the company, and the regular company there was called WWC, World Wrestling Council. And I used to work with them, and then I had a falling out over money. Who would think such a thing would come in the way of business, money? But and then I didn't actively pursue going to IWA. They came after me, and I gave them a number of what I wanted per week. Plus, they pick up my room and paid for my transportation. So. But I did very well there. And finally, when I left, the guys were saying, but I had the story kind of laid out. All they had to do was just follow it. But about, I guess, 8 weeks after I left, you could see those houses going boop and boop and boop because the same creative wasn't behind it. I'm not saying it's me.
You are.
But what I am, kind of. but I always put a little bit of comedy in there and some humor in there, and I think that was missing or whatever. And but it still did well. But as it come out that Victor Quinones was the owner of that company, and I think he OD'd, because when I took it over, he said he was losing 10,000 a week. I don't know how. That's what he said he was losing. And they found him dead in his house one day. But I saw that how he was living. He was really drinking a lot and taking a lot of pills. So I told Samuel one day, I said, man, he needs to stop that. He may be the next one to go. And he said, don't say that. So I went home and went to work, back to work for, no, I didn't go back to work. I went to work for TNA. Then I heard about 8 months later that they found him dead in his house, and he had OD'd. So
April the 2nd, 2006. So a little longer, but it was Soma's and
It was okay. I started there in 2000. I think I left in 2003.
Yeah.
So it's 3 years. But, when you see somebody doing that and they're acting differently and they don't look good, so you can't, and I couldn't envision Victor sustaining that lifestyle indefinitely, and he didn't. So, but we did have some mega houses. Went outside the same house that WWE Raw was in, I think, when they went to Puerto Rico. I think it was that same house, same crowd. It was a big indoor stadium, not indoor arena, but we filled it up. They filled it up. So, but if you're following a story, which is what we did, because my wrestling wasn't 5-star wrestling. It was all story, but the people kept buying tickets and kept coming to see it.
They got the Coliseo de Puerto Rico Jose Miguel Agrilots. I've probably butchered the pronunciation there, but that's what the venue was called.
Well, it was probably a different venue, but it was right next. They may have torn the old building down and put another one up, but we were in the same place where the other building was. So I don't know how many would hold, but we've sold it out before.
Yeah, broke ground in 1998, apparently, this new building, and built 98 to 2004. Anyway, did Carlos ever try and lure you back while you were working for IWA or even after?
Well, he never really talked to me since that time. And they had another, if I tell that Puerto Rican story, it'd take a whole podcast, but Carlos had a partner named Jovica. And he was from, where was he from?
Was it Croatia or something?
Croatia. So him speaking English was a chore. And him speaking Spanish was a chore because he didn't get either one of them right. Oh, and he had a voice like this. Hey, Dutch, how are you? I am fine. Thank you very much. Sometimes I wanted to kill him. I really did. But he knew how to run business. He did that. He was a kind of a hard head, and he's had some good years down there in Puerto Rico too. I don't know if I guess he's still involved with it. IWA is still going. They had a couple of territories when Vince and company, this is back in the old Vince days, when the WWF first started to move, they started taking all the moms and pops over. That's what I call the regular territories. And, but they never could take over Puerto Rico. Hogan talks about the times he went to Puerto Rico and it sold out. He didn't sell out.
Drew nothing.
It drew like 1,500 people or something. But to hear him tell it, it was a sellout every night, blah, blah, blah. No, it didn't. So, but when I was there, they liked tough ass wrestling. All this wrestling you see now in like AEW and all that, controlled wrestling. Nah, because you didn't pay enough. Sometimes you would get in the ring and actually, I told two guys to get in there and let the best man win. I told two guys. They were from down there. One come back with a bloody nose. The other come back with a busted eye. I didn't book them again. But yeah, it was always really, really a good area for wrestling. But you had to watch it if you were a heel, because those people thought wrestling was real and the space program was fake. So when you come out of that ring, you better have your head on a swivel. Sometimes they would be coming. And when you get in the ring, people would pick up rocks, or they would take their Coke cans and drink all the Coke out, leave the ice in it, and make a ball and throw it. And they played baseball year-round in Puerto Rico, so they had hellacious arms. I never really got hit by anything. I did get hit by a rock one time, and I left the ring, and they got so mad at me. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? I said, I'm not standing out there, guys, and be a damn target practice for those guys. I said, you either put security or I'm not doing it. And from then on, they had some security to stop those people from throwing this stuff. See, if one person throws and nobody stops them, well, that gives the second guy, well, I'm going to throw this. Then all of a sudden, you're out there. It's like damn a biblical stoning. Mm-hmm. They could stone you to death out there, and nobody would think anything about it. They just say, you need to watch yourself. That would be Joe Vickers answered me, you need to watch yourself up there. So, but anyway, yeah, we, the money wasn't good. I had to turn over. We had just regular guys there, but we still did good business, and we did 4 hours a week of TV. That's a lot of TV without a lot of talent.